Hi everyone, Frank Halverson here for this week's KVGC Les Schwab Tire Pigskin Preview. When we come back, we'll look at action from last Friday night and talk about games this week, so stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks!
Thanks for not just selling me tires.
Thanks for running out to my car to greet me.
Like, running.
Thanks for checking my brakes for free.
For fixing my flat for free.
And being just hassle-free.
For talking to me like an intelligent human being.
You don't see that too often.
Thanks for hustling to get me out of there.
Without making me feel hustled.
So thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks for doing the right thing by not just selling me tires.
Les Schwab Tires. Doing the right thing matters.
Well, last week, the leader of the pack, Sonora, was on bye, so they remain on top, undefeated. Sonora is ranked 10th in the section. Now, I'm not talking about Division 4 or Division 5. I'm talking about the total section, all schools. St. Mary's number 1, Folsom is number 2. Sonora is ranked number 10. Very impressive ranking for the Wildcats. Well, in a big game last week, Amador traveled across the river to Calaveras and came away with an impressive 24-14 victory to take over sole possession of second place, one game behind Sonora. Amador's defense again was up to the task as the Buffaloes jumped out to a 17-0 lead, and that Buffalo defense has just been impressive all year long. They swarmed to the football, and if there was one thing that I could say that has just stayed consistent all year long for Amador, that has been that fine defense, and they proved it again last Friday night. Well, the Buffaloes jumped out to a 17-0 lead, and Calaveras would find the end zone right before half to make the score 17-6. While the Buffaloes would add another score in the third, and at the end of 3, it was Amador 24, Calaveras 6. Calaveras would find the end zone one more time, but it was too little too late. Final score, Amador 24, Calaveras 14. Very impressive win for the Buffaloes. Dalen Thedford had 3 touchdowns on the night for the Buffs. Well, Bret Hart, as predicted, got their first league win with a 34-3 thrashing of Somerville to keep their playoff hopes alive. This week, Bret Hart looks for their second league win versus Linden. With a win, Bret Hart would be playoff qualified for the first time since, well, Moby Dick was a guppy. Well, that brings us to our game of the week, Argonaut versus the Linden Lions, or as I call them, the Linen Lions, because there is no D in Linden. The Mustangs punched their ticket to the playoffs with a 48-10 whipping of the Lions. Argonaut went right to work on the game's first possession, marching 80 yards where Trevor Ramage took it in from the 1. Linden was forced to punt, and the Mustangs took over at their own 28. The quarter ended with the score 7-0, but on the first play of the second quarter, Mason Flores would punch in the first of 3 touchdowns for the night, and Argonaut was up by 14. Linden again was forced to punt. Andrew Hernandez dropped back, and let's hear what happened next. Punt was a good punt, good snap. Another good kick, high, driving back all the way back to Hernandez. Hernandez picks it up on a bounce at about the 20-yard line, looking for some room. Gets to the 25, to the 30, to the 35, to the 40. He's got some room, to the 50, to the 40. He's racing down the sidelines, the 20, the 10. That's a touchdown. Mustangs, Andrew Hernandez, an 80-yard punt return, and that is your utility telephone play of the game.
Or utility telecom.
Telecom.
And you know what? As much as we want to give that to Hernandez, you got to give Addison Kramer a lot of credit. He hit 2 blocks up at the top of the play, ran with him all the way. Addison Kramer, my hat is off to you, buddy, because you made that happen.
Well, Hernandez goes 80 yards for the touchdown, helped out by a great block from Addison Kramer, and the Mustangs' lead was 21. Linden would kick a 31-yard field goal, and at half, the score was 21-3. The second half was more the same as Mason Flores would find the end zone again, this time from 27 yards out. And after a Ramage interception, Ryan Albiani on a quarterback sweep raced 35 yards down the sideline to make it 35-3. Well, Mason Flores would cap off his night for his third touchdown from 49 yards out to make it 42-3. Then Ramage closed it out with a 33-yard romp of his own. Final score, Mustangs 49, Lions 10. Mason Flores was our player of the game. Well, this week, Argonauts got their hands full. They travel over to Sonora trying to do what no other team has done in the Mother Lode League in 3 years, and that's to beat the Wildcats. It's going to be a tough one, tough sledding for Argonaut this week, but you never know. Last year's game against Sonora went into overtime. Sonora didn't play very well. They kind of looked past the Mustangs, and that certainly could happen again, but Argonaut's going to have to play a near flawless game. And you can bet for the first time all year, Amador fans will be rooting for the Mustangs to knock off the Cats to put them in a tie with Sonora. Well, this week's game of the week will be Amador in a non-league match. They will be hosting the 7-1 Yosemite Badgers. That record, don't let that record fool you. I looked at who Yosemite has been playing, and not a lot of quality football on that schedule, so I expect Amador to take another one this week, but that'll be our game of the week. Well, that'll do it for this week's Pigskin Preview. Friday night, we will be at Amador for the game of the week, and I hope you're there with us.